Welcome to the Dripping in Black podcast, where we celebrate Black excellence throughout the Black diaspora. Here's your host, David V. Lewis.
What's up, good people all across the world? This is the Dripping in Black podcast. I am your host, David V. Lewis. And per usual, we have another fantastic guest. Our guest today is Damien Kyle Crutcher. Damien, say hello to the world.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. Hope everybody's doing okay.
All right, so we got quite a few topics that we're going to get into. I'm really excited. Damien is a real close friend of mine. We grew up together, same street. We'll get into some details about that shortly. But let's have our guest tell the world about himself. So, Damien Kyle Crutcher, who are you?
Who am I? Man, well, first of all, today is my 53rd birthday. I'm a Detroiter. Like, I've been in Detroit all my life. You know, only left twice to go to school. Once at Michigan State for undergrad, and then later on, Michigan for a master's. So I'm a Detroiter, Northeast Side, like you said. David and I grew up together like brothers, really. I mean, brothers, for real.
Yeah.
His mom is my bonus mother. I love to eat. Obviously, if you look at me, I love to eat. I like to run my mouth. And, you know, I'm a faithful member of the church. I'm a Christian. I'm an assistant pastor. Musician, teacher, all those things. That's me. I like pork chops, like pork chops. I had two today, so just pray for me. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I like stuff to be fair. I like good conversation. I'm serious about justice and things being equal and people having more than just access to stuff. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and man, we have so much that we could talk about. I'm gonna have to mind my own conversation, but Damien is a close friend. He's the godfather of both of my sons. His younger brother is a close friend of mine as well. Freddie C. Shout out to Freddie C.
Right, Freddie C.
And he was the best man in my wedding. So for full transparency, very, very close friend, as he said, like brothers. And, so we grew up together. There was times where we worked in the same place.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. I want to go there. So I started my teaching as a substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And Damien had been teaching for years. Tell the world where that was.
At that time, we were at Southfield-Lathrup High School.
Yeah.
Right. I started at Lathrop, I think the fall of '96. I had just finished in Michigan. Okay. And I was supposed to go on to teach at a college. Like, that was the normal track for the folks who finished at Michigan. They were going to teach at college. And my professor had 3 colleges lined up for me, blah, blah, blah. But then Southfield-Lathrup had a position. And so they came looking for me and they said, hey, we need you. You can do this. The kids can't play. They won't listen. And so I interviewed for the job and I started in '96 at Southfield-Lathrup High School, which was, one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a premier. It was the best kept secret, I think, but it was the premier high school in Wayne and Oakland County, for sure.
Mm-hmm. What makes you say premier? What about it made it stand apart from other schools?
I think that first of all, the principal, Todd Henderson, who is a good friend of mine. He helps me with Crescendo. He's one of my advisors. Todd was a white guy who understood that these Black kids need Black teachers.
Yeah.
So he had some white staff that were good, but my first year, he went on a hunt and he hired must have been 13 of us, young Black teachers, me, Marcia Whitaker, Ed Hill, Linda Evans. I mean, he just raided Detroit, and he brought us all in. And so that automatically made the school shift, because you got these Black students who see all of us, like, you know, we're in our 20s, we know our stuff, we love to teach. And we can also grab them and say, get in this office, you know, and talk to them for real about stuff. So it was premiered that way. We had great parental support. We stretched the kids. We had resources to take students to different places. We had the support of our principals. We had the support of our superintendent. Everyone was kind of on the same page. Yeah. And it was a free public school. So I was getting kids were turning down Country Day. Wow. UD Jesuit. I had kids from all the private schools that were jumping ship to come to Southfield-Lathrup. So it was a special place.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you talked about so many things. I said, okay, we'll be on here for hours. That thing about Black teachers in front of Black kids is quite a topic that I think we will have to address on some other episode, because I want to keep it moving. But so again, I knew you as growing up, but then I get into the profession. Very impressed when I got to the school to see how you operated as a teacher. And, so I was a substitute teacher to begin.
Right.
And the one class that I did not want to sub for was Damien Crutcher's class.
Right.
It was a substitute teacher's nightmare, because it was 50 some odd students, and it was 1,000 places they could go and hide. And they had the license to go to specific places. So I was like, I turned that thing down. But I just remember kind of watching you. And I don't know if you know this, when I started teaching as a certified teacher, I stole a lot of your mannerisms. I think of my class as I'm conducting the band. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is there's times where I want the noise.
Right.
And there's times where I want it to settle down. And there's times where I want quiet.
Right.
And, so I watched you and seen how you did that. And I was able to steal from you with regards to that as well.
That's pretty good. And, one of the things that's pretty good, David. One of the things I tell people all the time is that most of the stuff that we do as good teachers, we've borrowed from other people. Yeah. And that's a good thing, because some folks think that a totally quiet class is a productive class. Right. It's not necessarily so. No. Like you said, sometimes you need that activity, you need that sound, you need that noise, kids working together. Then sometimes it's got to be in the middle of the road, and sometimes it should be silent. Yeah. But a good teacher can gauge when they need that. And my class was crazy too, because if I wasn't there, they felt like we're not doing no work. Yeah, Mr. Crutcher's not here, we ain't got to play. They would run around. I would tell them, please don't act up tomorrow, y'all, please. And it never worked. They always just went buck wild. They were great kids, but I guess it just took advantage of me not being there. So
yeah. Well, a sub come in, that's typical.
That's typical. That's a hard thing.
It's one thing to have a regular classroom full of kids. It's another thing to have a big band room full of kids. And then, like I said, they have a license of place to go. So that was a challenge that I turned down quite often.
Right. And you remember some of I had a couple of bands that were like 75 kids each. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids.
Too many to
manage. Right. So it was always a trip.
Okay. And so you taught. What I find interesting, when did you retire?
And I didn't really retire. I just stopped teaching in 2008. Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was the year after I started.
Right. It was,
Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't think I put those. I didn't put those together. No, I didn't put those times together. Yeah,
so I've been subbing for a while, and then I did my student teaching there at Southfield-Lathrup.
Right.
And then I started in 2007, and I thought I was going to have a friend for life that I could lean on.
Right.
And he retired the next year.
I was gone. I was out of there. Yeah, it was you know, it was time to make a shift,
Mm.
and you gotta know when that time is. You gotta make sure if you're a Christian that you hear from the Lord and that you verify with some other people,
Yeah.
And I remember a couple of years before that Pastor Cranford, my pastor and my best friend, he said to me, "The Lord is going to change your assignment." And I said, "Oh, you're crazy. I'm making all this money. I'm not going nowhere." He said, he said, "You'll see, you'll know when it's time." And as I got closer to 2008, I just felt like I was in a box, and it was getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, God will do that to push you out,
Yeah.
make you almost hate it, to force you to move out so he
Yeah.
can use you in another area. So
Yeah.
it was. So 2008, I stopped teaching at Lathrop and said goodbye to the kids, to all my friends. It was
Wow.
tough. It was hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine.
It was hard.
So what was it that made you? You said you stopped teaching. You didn't officially retire, but what made it? What was it that made you leave teaching, at
So
least in
it
that
was
capacity?
like I said, it was hearing from the Lord, first of all, knowing that um, I was going to have another assignment, and I couldn't figure out what the next thing was if I was still teaching music and
Mm-hmm.
rehearsing and marching band festivals and night stuff. I just couldn't do it all, so I had to let it go so I could see what the next thing was going to be. And so
Okay.
I had time to catch up on some sleep, right? Kind of reorder my life, and see what was out there, because I knew that eventually I'd have to come closer to Detroit to do things for kids in the city.
Okay.
I just knew that was the driving. That South Oak Park was good, Southfield was good, but it was like I know I got to get into the neighborhoods in Detroit and do some work, and those other things just kind of prepared me for the next place.
Okay.
It's
And
that
so
pull.
now,
It's this thing when you gotta go, you gotta follow it. Ain't no
yeah,
sense in fighting it. Like our friend Tom Meredata always talks about that. When that pull comes, when that call comes, you gotta go. You just gotta, you gotta pay off some bills.
yeah.
I had to turn in my Cadillac was leased. I turned in my Cadillac and I bought a Ford Explorer cash. You just gotta make those adjustments, and then you just gotta hit it.
Yeah. So now you're the CEO of Crescendo.
Yeah, Crescendo Detroit. Yes, sir.
All right. So there's been quite a few stories done on Crescendo, but
Yeah.
for the Dripping in Black audience, give them a Cliff Notes explanation of what Crescendo is.
Okay. So 7 years ago, me and Fred Crutcher and a friend of mine, Richard Mukamal, we founded Crescendo Detroit because really I noticed that I never saw kids in Detroit walking down the street with instruments.
Hmm.
Like when we were growing up.
Like
So
you,
me,
with the French horn.
right, with my French horn case in my backpack. They talked about me all the time, y'all. They let me have it. Oh my God, they used to let me
To the
have
bus,
it.
to the bus stop.
To the bus. I had this French horn in this backpack. Oh, cash tag. It was crazy. But anyway, and I never saw that. And I knew that at the time, most of the schools in Detroit did not have band, orchestra, choir, dance, not even gym. So we're raising a group of kids that miss all of that. So we just said, let's start this program. And we have been meeting about it. And then I woke up one day and I said, we're going to start this summer. They were like, wait, we don't have the money. I said, yeah, we're going to start this summer. Let's go. And so basically it is a chance for kids to take a band, orchestra, or percussion instrument from us. And then we also teach dance, and we also teach life skills. And now we do financial literacy. And my godson, David's son, he does the basketball life skills component also. And then we feed the students. I have 2 cooks that fight each other in the kitchen all day because they're best friends. But we feed them when they come in, and then we all sit down at the end for dinner together. Sometimes their parents eat with us. And we meet Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 to 7:30. Saturday mornings, 9 to 1.
Okay.
And we started that summer with, I think, 11 kids. Now we graduated 3 kids. So we have 50 kids in the program.
Wow.
Ages 5 to 17. And we started them at 5 because we kind of wanted to, basically like our parents used to say, we want to get them off the streets.
Yeah.
We want to get them early before they get into that mode of, I don't want to learn. I don't want to be the best. I don't want to be smart. So we want to get them early to kind of get them into this culture of excellence, and dance was the most important, though. Dance was most important because we knew that Black people have been pioneers in every type of dance forever.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to dance, classical dance, jazz, hip hop, church, liturgical, doesn't matter. We've always been the best at that. And so that part of them seeing that was important for them to learn who Alvin Ailey was and who Debbie Allen is. It was important that they learn who those people are. So that's the program in a nutshell. We have this amazing partnership with University of Michigan, where the kids, we go blue, right? Absolutely, they go up. Our kids go up about 18 times a year to Michigan, and because I wanted them to go up to know Ann Arbor, to know Go Blue, to understand that you could do this. So they go up and they take lessons from the music students at the school university. They take another dance class, another choir class, and then we go out to dinner. We go to football games, and the university covers that cost of the program. I said to them, you got to make this investment, and so they make that investment in our kids too. Some of them don't realize what they're getting yet, but they will.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
So I'm thinking, how old is too old? Because
right. That's what I'm saying.
When you said the football tickets, I said, well, wait a minute.
Listen, Fred, as you know, I went to Michigan and Michigan State. So one day, Fred is my brother, David's brother. Fred said to me, "Hey, Crutcher, ask the band director, Kevin Senatol, if you can get some tickets to the Michigan State game." I said, "Okay, yeah, we'll work it out." I called Mrs. Kevin. He said, "Yeah, let me see." So he found us like 12 tickets to a Spartan football game, and then Crescendo bought like 10 more. And so we went up and we met the Spartan marching band at their takeoff point. We marched with the band to the football field. Yeah. The kids came through the tunnel. They were like, "Oh, are you serious?" Yeah. They were playing with Sparty. They met Coach Izzo, and then of course, when I put it on Facebook, Michigan saw that.
Wow.
Right. So Maggie St. Clair.
I don't like how this is sounding.
Listen, so Michigan saw that. So Maggie St. Clair, rest her soul. You remember Maggie St. Clair, she passed away a couple of years ago. She texted me and said, "Oh, I saw what they did at Michigan State. We can beat that." I said, "Can you?" She said, "Yeah, just hold on a minute." So she texted me back. She said, "Yeah, I got tickets for you and the kids. I'm going to have T-shirts made, athletic T-shirts made. You can go on the field for post-game, pre-game, and the kids will be able to march to the stadium with the band." Because it's about the experiences, right? When you layer those experiences on top of experiences, that's when you change kids' perspective.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump in here and go off a little bit because you and I went to the game, the famous trouble with the snap game.
You know what? That was a trip.
And we were there to experience, the Crutchers are really Spartan fans, people.
I mean, so, really.
And we were in Michigan, and
it was bad because
the game was in our hands.
Oh man!
If you don't know the trouble with the snap story, the game was in our hands. The crowd was hyped. Then the trouble with the snap happened, and I tell you, Crutcher, I've never seen anything like it.
Nothing.
So many people were silent, not moving, jaws dropped, and the Crutchers, they could almost not hold their excitement inside. They had to keep it under control because we were surrounded by Michigan people, but it was something.
It was something because Maggie St. Clair, she was the marching band administrator. She got us tickets, and we were right in front of Coach Harbaugh. We were right there in the front row, second row. And so it was just horrible to be there and have that happen, to be around. And Fred Crutcher just looked at me and went, he turned around to all the Michigan folks and went, it was unreal. It was unreal. But you know, part of that too, and we can talk about that the next time, is how important it is to like build relationships with people along the way. Because Maggie could look out for me and us, and she could look out for the kids. And when she passed away, the director of bands at Michigan saw me at the funeral. He said, I know what she did for you and your students, and whatever you need from us, we got it.
Wow.
Just do it. And so just getting our kids, but you got to teach them how to appreciate, but they won't get the Michigan State thing really until they get older, and they say, wait, we were down on the field doing flips, right? You're not doing that no more. You got to go up.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into that a little bit today.
Okay.
Developing the relationships, because it's getting back to Crescendo. You start off with 11 kids.
Right.
Right. Where is it now? You say you have 50 kids now?
50 kids now. Yeah.
How do you go from 11 kids to 50 kids in 7 years?
In 7 years, first of all, it's you have some successes. People like successes, you know. And so if you put stuff on Facebook and kids are performing and they see that, there's a certain group of parent that wants their kids to be in that. Yeah. They're like, okay. Oh yeah, like my students at Southfield-Lathrup at Oak Park, like they want their kids to be in Mr. Crutcher's programs. I teach, so they just dump their kids in my program. People that I went to Cass Tech with, take care of my kids, Crutcher, you know what to do, go. And then we had to beat the neighborhoods. Like we go to the neighborhoods and we grab the kids that might get missed. Mm-hmm. You know, the kids whose parents might be single parent, might not. And we make sure that we have enough of those kids in our program as well. So it's about building it, and it gets momentum. The word gets out. People want their people in the program. We go out and recruit. We talk to friends. They send their kids. They like what we do. People like that we feed the kids, that we look out for them, that we wrap around them. And so it just starts to build. And then along the way, you have to pay for it. Yeah. I mean, you've got to pay for this thing.
All this stuff sounds great when it's free.
It's free, right? But you got to pay for it, and that's when you.
Two cooks and
band and I got Darius come in, and Darius got a staff. Darius got another staff member. I said, well, who is she? She's my assistant coach. I got to pay Darius and the assistant coach. So what you do is you learn fast that, first of all, I got to learn nonprofit. Okay, I got to learn raising money. And so you go back to your colleagues and friends, and you find people that do that. Okay. And, you pray about it, because one thing that Pastor Crawford always says is, the Lord will teach you better than a book. So I'll be like, well, you better teach me, because I don't know how to pay for this. You better teach me today. And so you learn, you study, and you find out how to do it. And then you, like Obama always says, if you want to do something, build a community around it. Yeah. And so we started to build a community around it of music teachers, of friends and brothers like you, other teachers, former students, and then people with money find out about it, right? So you have a couple like Maxine and Stuart Frankel. They've become friends of mine. The Frankels are the Frankels that built Somerset Mall, just to give you a sense of who they are.
Little small property out there.
Right. So when they go to the mall, they just take them to this upper room, and the shoppers bring them the stuff. So a couple like that finds out about you. And they say, well, listen, we want to talk to us about your program, and let's go to dinner. And so they fund some of it, and then their friends find out about it. Because you do have this extraordinary group of philanthropists that want to give to programs, and a lot of them are Jewish folks, and that's what they do. That's all they do is give money. Mm-hmm. That's why they're blessed, because they do that. And so that's how you build it. You build it, you work it, and you can't be messing around though. You can't have a sloppy program. Yeah. You can't. It can't be junky.
So, I'm curious, like if I'm somebody that's just starting my nonprofit and I don't know a Jewish person at all.
At all. Right. I don't know them at
I don't know
all.
anybody with deep pockets.
I don't know
What are some words of advice you would give them?
I think start small is okay. Starting small is okay. Staying small is okay. And I think reaching out to people like me who have done it, but there are others that are doing it way bigger than me. But reach out to people like me, and we will help you. We'll walk you through the process. Me and Fred help a lot of people with that, and just study the field. As a conductor, I have to know the conductors. As a teacher, I got to know the very best teachers. I gotta see David Lewis. I gotta see Tom Aradata. I gotta watch Kente. I gotta watch these teachers teach. Yeah. And then nonprofit folks, you gotta watch the nonprofit people. You gotta keep your eye on the Detroit Symphony, right? Which I'm doing some work for them now. And the Detroit Symphony has a $68 million endowment.
Wow.
So when I'm in those meetings, I'm just going, wait, 60, I try not to look like I'm shocked. I'm like, oh, okay. 68 million endowment? That means you're not touching that. Right, we're not touching that. We want it to be 100 million so that the orchestra will survive forever, no matter what happens. So you got to study to read the books, network, ask the questions, but just build something solid that really impacts kids, because people want to know, is what you're doing working?
Yeah.
Like is it working? Like, is there a story there? Like, David and I, Miss Mahone is one of our teachers from our middle school.
Yeah.
And Miss Mahone is in this thing with us. I mean, she is like, I'll be at the meeting. How much money you want? I said, hey, Miss Mahone, you must got some good money. She said, you and David Lewis and Fred Crutcher are so handsome, anyway. So you just got to build that network, but start small, study, learn, but definitely make sure that there's a story to tell, even if you have 5 kids.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. So crescendo, start small, you're at 50.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going next?
We talk about this a lot. My site director is Angel Rock. She was one of my kids at Lathrop. Thomas Butler.
Also supposed to be a Dripping in Black guest. And
yes, we don't get her. She coming.
She's fully on blast now, people.
Yeah, Angel, you on blast, but that's probably my fault because Crescendo's working her to death because she runs it. She's the principal. She runs that sucker. Okay. Her and Thomas and Andre Charlie did the administration team. We talk about this all the time that we do want to add some more kids to the mix, but we want to do what we do better first.
Okay.
Right. We want the kids to be better readers, better basketball players, better students, more accountable, better musicians. So we're working on kind of going deeper with them, and then at the same time expand slowly with maybe about 20 more kids. And then we have offers already to start Crescendo Part 2 on the east side. I said, wait. Don't wait. I know. I'm like, hold on, wait. Right. They'll be like, what you waiting on?
That same spirit you had when you started. Let's go.
Let's go. And I'll be like, oh man, right. Because the Salvation Army, because we were housed at the church, and the church let us do that for free. And then we ran out of space. So we got hooked up, and we're at the Salvation Army on Dexter in Chicago now. Mm-hmm. And there's a gym and a full kitchen. And so the Salvation Army is like, listen, we got this facility on the east side. It's bigger than this one. Okay. And the guy named Chris Ward, white guy, he's a cool guy. He said, well, let me know when you're ready, but I'm already ordering stands and instruments. I said, really? He said, yeah, just when you're ready, just go. So that's our plans at this point, and to just get some of our boys to be a little bit more academic, a little bit more front of the class. Yeah. To get them to be, because our girls are off the chain. These girls are these girls. I got girls at Crescendo who are gonna be the next Stacey Abrams. Yeah. I mean, but the boys, I'm like, come on, y'all can't let these girls they're gonna be doctors. Yeah. What y'all doing? Yeah. So we're just trying to get the guys to come up. So Darius is helping us with that.
Yeah. So so many things, man. If so the East Side situation, there's people listening. What would you need to make that happen?
God, that's a good question. To make it happen, man, that's great. I need to feel confident enough that the West Side location is functioning at a level financially that it should. And this year it is. This is our first year where we will meet all of our targets budget wise.
Okay.
And we're doing a lot of infrastructure work on the inside, like our Crescendo Detroit board. We got a strategic plan. You know, we've been working hard on that. One of my friends from Cass Tech, George Davis, he's the president. And so we've been really working hard on that. So we're starting to see the fruits of that now. So as that gets settled in, then we just add it to the strategic plan. And we look at the numbers, and then the numbers will tell us, okay, go. Or the faith will tell us to go before we see the numbers. So you got to have the plan in place. The staff has got to understand what that means for them. So for Angel, you got to tell her, she's going to be like, Crutcher, what do you mean? You got to have a second angel. I'm not doing both. So then I have to have a second angel, and then she has to train that second angel, and those kind of things have to be, you know.
I can't wait for Pastor to watch this, because I just hear so many messages. I mean, you got an angel working for you. You need a second angel.
You got a second angel, right. Right. All that stuff you got to do.
Cranford, do what you do with that.
Right. Do what you do. Right. You could, like they say, that'll preach. So that's kind of where we are with all of that. At this point, we're part of the program. We've got about 7 graduates out there that are in school. Like one of them, Malik, is in medical school. You know, and my niece Nia is in college at EMU, and she's been teaching a social justice class for us. I said, I need you to give back. She said, sure, Uncle Damien, what do you want? Teach a social justice class. So she comes on Wednesday nights, and she teaches a class, which is much more effective than me teaching, because they look at that, this Nia, she's one of us. Wow, she's in college. Yeah. She's in her dorm room, teaching in her dorm room, you know, so those kind of things.
So talk a little bit about the process. How does somebody become a Crescendo student? How do you get into the program? How does that work?
Well, first of all, unlike a lot of programs, we take any kid that wants to be in it, right? There's no prerequisites, there's no audition, there's no application, because again, we want to make sure that we get the student that might get overlooked.
Okay.
Like students like you and me growing up, in a way, we could have been overlooked if we didn't have a David.
Maybe you, not me.
Not you. Me,
we on camera, man.
Real camera. I'm sorry. I didn't mean
maybe you.
I'm telling the information. You know, if we didn't have a Miss Poor, Miss White, David Williams, Sadie Mahone, you know, all those great people, and so they can reach out to us on our website at crescendodetroit.org. They can catch me on Facebook. They can Google me. They can call us, and we'll get their kids in. Even if they want to start, we're going to start back next week. If they want to start next week, come on. If it's the week after, whatever, just join us. We'll get you in the mix and get you going. And we do have some room for some kids. We could about 5 kids we could use at this point.
Okay. And you're located where?
We're located at the Salvation Army, the Detroit Temple, which is at Chicago and Dexter on the west side. It's a beautiful facility. I mean,
it's real nice neighborhood over there too.
I mean, well, that's why we're there. Right. When the people drive in, they go, oh, I said, yeah, that's why we're here. That's why, come on in. Come on in. That's why we're here. Just come on through. And because that was one of the things when we started, that we wanted to be like in the middle of a neighborhood where kids could walk to us. So some kids do walk to us. So it's a good thing. I think, and a part of that is the way we were raised. People ask, well, why do you do this kind of work? I mean, you could be off just being a conductor or professor. I said, I don't know. I said, growing up, we had people that did stuff for us, you know.
Yeah.
Remember my dad sometimes would take all of us to the Tigers baseball game,
Yep.
right? And David's mom, my second mom, Miss Lewis, made sure that we had like Easter baskets, you know? Like it didn't matter who you were on the street. She made sure on Easter you had a basket that had your kind of stuff in it, you know? I remember we were little kids and she walked us to Top Hat Hamburgers on 8 Mile, you know,
Shout out to Top Hat.
Top Hat, right? And we sat in the park and ate. So it's like people did stuff for us. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
And so that's just kind of been a part of, you know, that's just kind of in my thing at this point. Reverend Green and paying for my horn lessons and all this kind of stuff. It's just a part of who we are.
Yeah. It's a valuable lesson to pass on, right?
It's a valuable lesson to pass on. And, you know, Mom was big on that. I talked to her today. She said, how old are you? I said, 53. She said, you're getting old. I said, how old are you? She said, how old am I? They said 81. She said, oh, I'm old too then. I said, right. So we laughed and talked. But it's that legacy. It's our parents. It's our community's legacy. Our 313, Monarch, Keystone, Conley, Farwell, Van Zyl.
Eastside,
right? It's you know, we got great people from Eastside doing great things. You know, Alicia Bradford is doing great stuff.
future guest.
Wait, JJ.
Shout out, BB.
Who's the chef? Sean Lovin.
Love.
He just taken over the I just read the Detroit Athletic Club. He's going to be the head man.
Wow.
So from our neighborhood, you know, hey, you can't beat it.
Yeah, we gonna have to reach out to him as well.
Get him on here.
All right, D Crutch, we got one more very important question before we let you go. There's 1,000 more things that I could ask, but you know, like you said, you've done some conducting, you do some teaching, you do a lot of this and a lot of that, and we're not going to get into all of that on this episode. But the most important question we ask is, have you ever been on the cover of a magazine?
Have I ever been on the cover of a magazine? I have. I just can't remember. I have been on the cover.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? You know who's great? Put me on the cover is the Black magazine. Oh, shut up.
Well, go on. You said Black magazine put you on the
Black
cover?
magazine just reached out to me and they want to do an article. I should say, I hope I can get on the cover. I know I'm going to be on the inside.
Okay.
I love that. Look at that.
You are on the cover of the Drippin' in Black magazine.
I like that. Look at that.
Yeah. All of our guests that come on to the episode, they get the grace to cover for that episode of our magazine. And there's your cover, D Crutch.
I love it. Drippin' in Black.
That is a parting gift. We will get that out to you
that's
at a later date.
Very good.
Coming out with the caveat that you will pop back on and we'll have even more discussion.
Oh yeah, anytime. One time we have to get my mentor. We'll get Wooten, me, and Chris to come. 3 generations, right?
That's great.
And we'll just
get Meridata on here.
Oh, are you kidding? Oh man, he's about to help me on this other project at the DSO. He's about to help me on that. You know, one of the greatest. Yeah,
the greatest. All right, but we will leave it there. We want to thank you for coming out, and we want to let the audience know that we have the final segment, the last drip, that's coming up. But thanks again to Damien Kyle Crutcher, D Crutch, for gracing us.
Good. Thank you, David Lewis, and your production staff, Sean. Thank you all for having me. Keep up the good work.
Up next, the last drip.
A Drippin' in Black thanks to my brother Damien Crutcher, a true man of God whose faith shines through his work. We appreciate him for his passion for our city and all that he's doing to impact the lives of our kids. Now, however, we have reached the final segment of our podcast called The Last Drip. The Last Drip is the last opportunity for us to squeeze in a bit more Black excellence before we leave you. In this final segment, we highlight a common thread between our guests and our vast and rich African American history. For this episode, we focus on Aaron Paul Dworkin. Born to an interracial couple in 1970 in Monticello, New York, when he was just 2 weeks old, Aaron was adopted by Barry and Susan Dworkin, who happened to be white neuroscience professors. Dworkin's adoptive mother was also an amateur violinist. It was she who introduced Aaron to classical music. At the age of 5, Aaron began playing the violin. At the age of 10, Aaron moved with his adoptive parents to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hershey had just one Black family. It was a place that Aaron was ostracized because of his race and began a self-described downward spiral. By the time Aaron reached his junior year of high school, his parents had decided to send him to the esteemed Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan, a decision that Dworkin has, on one or more occasions, credited for saving his life. After graduating from Interlochen, Aaron went back home for a few years before returning to Michigan to attend the one and only University of Michigan. Go Blue. From the University of Michigan, Aaron attained a Bachelor's of Music in 1997 and a Master's of Music in 1998. Also in 1997, Dworkin founded the Sphinx Organization, which is a national nonprofit social justice organization that is dedicated to transforming lives through the power of diversity in the arts. The Detroit-based Sphinx Organization has major corporate sponsors, the support of universities and numerous American symphony orchestras. It holds annual competition concerts in Ann Arbor and Detroit in junior and senior divisions. And above all, it is doing the important work of addressing the underrepresentation of people of color in classical music. Amongst many other things, Aaron Paul Dworkin is a highly accomplished violinist, arts educator, and a powerful advocate for children of color. His accomplishments and accolades are quite honestly too numerous to list here. But for me, his greatest accomplishment, like our guest Damien Crutcher, is the work that he does for the underserved and underrepresented. It is also why he is this episode's last drip. For more on Aaron Paul Dworkin, check out sphinxmusic.org, chevalierdesaintgeorge.homestead.com, smtd.umich.edu, biography.jrank.org, theviolinchannel.com, and icfad.membersclicks.net. My thanks to all of these websites for the knowledge. What a great guy that's doing great things right now in the moment. He is our last drip, but hopefully he will be a guest one day on the Drippin' in Black podcast. All right. Perhaps one of these days, I will also be able to convince somebody that our African American history is vast, rich, and not limited to what the school system decides to teach. But until then, I implore you to be good, be good, be good. It is a choice.
You have just experienced a Dripping in Black production.